the Boundless Authenticity Podcast. Thanks for tuning in to the Boundless Authenticity Podcast. If you're new here, please like and subscribe. Also, know that I've switched podcast hosts from Spreaker over to Podbean, and all the episodes are now available for streaming at boundlessauthenticity.podbean.com. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world. And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Today's guest is a unique one. Jesse Collins lives on 40 acres in Kansas, USA, and he's a credible eyewitness of UAP sightings, orb encounters, and the like. You can check his orb sightings on Instagram at EarlBob1964. Jesse, how's it going?
It's going great. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
Yeah, it's good to finally meet you too. I saw you speaking with Sarah Van Laken, and she is incredible when it comes to this kind of stuff. I don't know. You guys are blessed.
Yeah, it's funny. I had an experience with the red sprite, and like a couple weeks later, she sends me a video, and it was basically what I captured, but this was like a year prior. So me and her have some spiritual synchronicities for sure.
So what exactly are you calling a red sprite? Describe it.
I actually never heard of a red sprite until I posted the video, and a couple of people's like, "Oh, that's a red sprite." So I Googled it, and it's crazy looking. It's hard to describe. They call it like a upper atmosphere lightning, but honestly, what I seen, it wasn't in the upper atmosphere. It was low. So I don't know the technicalities, to be honest with you.
I've seen something like that, I think, but I've also seen what Sarah told me is called swimmers.
Right.
Yeah. And it's usually just out of the corner of my eye. It's never a spectacular, like, here I am type of thing. So tell me about that.
Well, the crazy thing is, after I captured this, I just started doing research on red sprites. And it's funny, there's people that spend their entire life setting up expensive equipment just so they can capture something like this. And here I am just, going out in the morning sky, and I captured the first one. It was just mind blowing how beautiful it was. And what was crazy, I went later that evening and I did my editing, and I actually caught another one 15 minutes later. It wasn't as spectacular, but it just blew my mind. It's so rare.
I'm thinking about it as you're talking, and I'm thinking all these different questions for you. And I think rather than just ask the question, why me? Why Jesse? I would rather ask you, what do you think is the reason connected to your spirituality that makes these beings show themselves to you?
Honestly, I think, and I humble myself, and if I put too many I's in me's, I'm sorry, because all the credit goes to the Lord, because I would see absolutely nothing. To me, honestly, it's a gift, and I cherish this gift. It's you think about it. This is the most important thing for people to get out of this podcast. 99.9% of the people, the videos you see, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, pay attention. They already have something happening whenever they press record. There's something of interest. Me, it's the exact opposite. Whenever I press record, there is absolutely nothing going on. It has to happen. It's like an answer. It's like I'm talking to the good Lord, and it's answered. So all you have to do is just, after you get done watching this, click on any video, and that's just how it is. And what's crazy is the UAP podcast did an SE5 or whatever, where they ask a question and AI gives an answer. And one of the questions is like, what are the odds if somebody goes out, speaks a positive message, and gets a heavenly response within a minute? And it was like 1 in 16 trillion. And honestly, and like I said, this is not me, it's a gift. Every morning, every time I go record, I get footage. Every time, not every video, but I call it like a session. And to me, that's the biggest story. But now that, and it's funny because this has been going on for like 3 years. If you go back at the beginning of my Instagram and just start looking at the timelines, how it really originally started is I was taking my dogs down the driveway, and it's like a tenth of a mile to the road, and it was just getting dark, and for the first time, it was like a flash, pow, out of nowhere, one spot in the sky, and it's like it got my attention. I'm like, did I see that? Because that's one thing about this phenomena. It is so laser fast. I mean, it's fast. But the kicker is the more that you watch and the bigger your faith is, you see it more often. And the more often you see it, it's kind of like a snowball effect. Because your faith, it's like, instead of just saying, oh, was that a coincidence? It's like you go out with a sense of knowing, like, I know I'm going to see it. I just got to pay attention. And what was so cool, it started out as a flash, and then it got more frequent. And then I started just asking for a shooting star. I don't know where that come from, but that's just what I did. And it's just so, like I said, if you go through in the progression of the Instagram videos, you could just see it's like, wow, that he's seeing it more often. And it's gotten way exciting since I've really talked about this. I knew something was happening because I would be like speaking like during a storm or something. And I started noticing, have you ever, just to back up, have you ever heard of those like those lights like at a disco or something, and it goes to the music? Like if you start singing, it goes to the beat. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I started noticing that with the thunder. And it was like, no. But then what was crazy is I started getting flashes off of my shop. Like I would mention the name Jesus Christ, and I actually have the video of this. I said, there's the power in the name Jesus Christ. And instantly the whole garage or shop flashes. And it's like, the more you see it, it's like, Well, the most wildest part is here recently, I was out videoing and then it just got foggy out of nowhere. I mean, instantly, it's like, and I get bummed out because it's like, dang, no more stars. Well, what happened is I started speaking, like the name Jesus Christ, and there was an energy that was coming off of the fog. And as I'm speaking that, every hair in my body standing up right now. I mean, what I just spoke, I didn't have my video going because that's the first time I experienced something like that. But that's something that I have learned. Pay attention. I mean, I'm sitting there, whenever I do go out, I ask, I'm like, let me learn. Because at first it's like, it's all cool. And it's like, oh my God, that's amazing. But now it's like, I want to learn. Okay. Is it word sensitive? Am I sad or am I happy? You understand? Because it's almost like what you put out into the atmosphere, the energy you get back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I have heard many instances where they're correlating a single person's emotional state or a group of people, their emotional state, to the way that the weather responds. There's also some correlation between geoengineering being cleared from the sky in the presence of these beings, or these orbs or ships.
Right. One, and it's, I was trying to get back to the progression of how everything is expanded. I would go out and it's a beautiful sky, whatever. And it's just like, I instantly, it's like my heart, I don't know, it's hard to explain, like a joy. And it just sends up. And I've actually walked out and I've seen like three different shooting stars. They start in the middle and they go out in different directions, which I'm trying to work on some type of a GoPro or something with night vision that I could capture something like that. Because it's easy for me to sit here and talk to you about it, but if you could actually see the video, it just helps so much more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. And it seems like in a lot of instances, maybe they want you to capture it, right?
Yes, absolutely. And you know what's crazy? I'll go out and I've got, when I first started doing it, I'll be honest with you, I was like a little kid in the candy store. I'm like, oh man, 20, 30 videos, But now it's like, it's a knowing. I understand that this is real and it's not going to go away. That's one of my fears. I was always worried that I'm going to lose the gift. And it's not like that. But one thing I need to stress is if whoever's watching, they decide to go out, always say a prayer of protection because it's really cool. But the main thing is you have to have respect because where there's good, there's evil. And that's why I go out and I pray for the blood of Jesus over me. I pray for protection, that I could have a safe area where I can open my heart, where I can drop my guard, where my thoughts are pure. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I was just thinking that you remind me of Brandy, the Orbs girl, in your demeanor.
Yeah.
Also remind me of a friend of mine, Scott Pace. He's in Louisiana, and he sees Sasquatch, and like they come to his house, and when he goes hunting and stuff like that, and he sees the orbs as well. And he also is a person of strong spiritual fortitude, very religious, and you guys have the same demeanor. You have that same.
You know what's crazy? Mm-hmm. I've actually met her and her husband.
Yeah.
We went to Wilmington last year and it was really cool. There's a group of us and we actually did a beach watching with Chris Bledsoe. So yeah, she's one of the original people that I met on Instagram, and she took me by the hand and kind of just helped me along because it's a journey. Because my opinion, what I do, you're basically kind of picking a fight with the negative energy, because I don't know how spiritual you are, but I know that whenever you try to do good, negative comes after you.
Absolutely.
And that's the big thing, like Sarah, Jenny, all these people on Instagram, they're my prayer warriors. We're a tight group, and I'll be honest with you, I probably would have walked away from this if it wasn't from them, just because I was just so overwhelmed. And just the phenomena itself, that's not even to say all the stigma that comes with it. People snickering and he's crazy talking to the sky. But they helped me fight through, and they're just the shout out to them. I love you guys. You're very special, and you will always have a special place in my heart.
Yeah, it's true. I feel very fondly of them as well. They're just doing great work. I don't talk to Brandy very much, but I talk to Sarah as much as I can and check in and see how's it going. And yeah, just sweet, genuine souls, and something that is lacking in this world these days. But I know exactly what you're talking about. I have had so many challenges with this podcast. The very first time I started in 2021, my first 6 episodes were taken down because of the nature of the content. And I started over and I got shadow banned, and I just could not grow over 1,000 listens. And it took me 3 years of being patient and asking for help from anyone I could find, any beings out there, the creator, it just tell me where to go. And I just followed all of those cues that I got and built and built and built. And then just early this week, I got slapped again. I got deplatformed and demonetized because they were claiming that I was using bots to generate my views, and I was getting over 70,000 impressions. I went from that to, I went from like 4,000 a year ago up to 70,000 by pushing, doing everything I could to learn about search engine optimization and keywords and getting guests that can share to their large groups of their mailing lists and Instagram followers and stuff like that. And it just built and built over time, and it pissed them off. And so every time I get a little bit of success in this and start getting the message out there, especially since I'm investigating anything to do with UFOs and ET contact over the past year, it's been even harder just because of that. They want to control the disclosure.
Well, see, are you familiar with Diana Fasolka?
I have heard the name, but I've never looked into her work.
You need to. She is very, very sharp. She got to go to the Vatican, and she's a religious scholar out of North Carolina, Wilmington, and she is sharp. And the kicker of that is, this came from Chris Bledsoe, that there's certain parts of the Bible that was intentionally misinterpreted. Just for example, the word cloud. And see, I grew up in a Bible teaching church, so I'm not religious. And honestly, and I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, you go out, what I do, check your ego. There is no religion. It's me and God. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. It's important that people understand that, because religion gets into, rules and regulations, but the natural world, I don't think it has anything to do with anything like that. You go out with your childlike faith. A good example would be like the American Indians, the Aborigines, people that doesn't have technology clouding their thoughts. You understand what I'm saying? And the people that are more close to the earth and to nature, they're in tune. That's where the truth is at. And the kicker is, are you familiar with Jesse Michaels?
Yes.
Jake Barber?
Yes.
Did you see that interview that Jesse did on Jake Barber?
I did not watch it.
Oh, you need to invest some time. It's like 3 hours long. And it's what it is everybody talks about disclosure. Dude, that's disclosure. They have the Skywatcher program where they're able to call in these different, there's like 8 or 9 different groupings of different things in the sky. I don't know what you'd call them. But the whole kicker is, in that podcast I'm talking about, Jake Barber said, if you go out and you open your heart and you say a prayer to the sky, you might be surprised what you see. And I'm like, what? That's what I do. And that was actually the first time that I was, what's the word? Whenever you're not crazy. I can't even think of the word. I'm sorry. Oh, dead.
I can't think of it either.
But it's like a reaffirming that this is real, that you go out and you are going to experience something. And I'm cracking up because your bird's on your shoulder.
Yeah, I'm very close to nature and the animals and stuff like that. And he's listening to what you're saying. He's looking right at you.
There's just a lot to people. Like, honestly, I don't watch the news. And if it's negative, I don't like being around people that talk negative. To me, it's low energy. and it's easy to get sucked into a negative conversation. And it's like, personally, it just makes me feel ugly. It's like, it's kind of a dirty feeling. You know what I'm saying? And nothing good can come from it. I mean, so that's one thing I do is I avoid negativity.
Yeah, I totally get that. It feels very emotionally and spiritually taxing. It's almost like, like when you rip plastic wrap off of the roll that it's on,
right?
It doesn't cut right on the teeth and it just breaks off. That's what it feels like to me when people are just talking unnecessary stuff.
Right. It's funny. I had talked to a guy I met on Instagram. His name is Orr. He told me, this has been a couple years back. He's like my early mentor. He's like, whenever you come to the point of knowing what people think, it just disappears. And this peace settles over you. And I finally achieved that. And it's like everything that he told me, I didn't understand. But now it's like, I get it. It's simple. You just unplug, just let the universe come to you. I mean, it's like an invitation. That's what I do. I go out, I invite the good Lord to spend time with me. Footage, no footage, but it's a magical feeling, definitely.
Yeah, surrender is just so important to the whole thing.
And see what people, I get a lot of people saying, well, I don't think I'm worthy to see this. You know what? You're right. You're not worthy, but neither am I. None of us are worthy. That's why you go out, you check your ego, and you're like, here I am, Lord. I believe. And if people does that, I guarantee you, he's pulling back the veil. Whether people want to acknowledge it, he's pulling back the veil. And I truly believe if you go out with childlike faith, and you can't just go out one time. I mean, come on, if you meet the girl of your dream or the guy of your dreams, you're gonna work at it. You're gonna try to get them to like you. You're gonna learn what, it's like a relationship. The more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. So besides, I just don't like the word disclosure and everything that it has come to stand for. I just wonder what you personally think these beings are trying to achieve by appearing so much these days.
I honestly believe they're tired of me and you being lied to. They're tired of humans trying to control the narrative. Those who have the power, they control the narrative, whether it's the people that run the television, the news. Think about that. How often do you hear positive news? I mean,
never.
And it's like everything is suffocating, divide, racism, hate. And I truly believe it's things is changing. And what's funny, I look at it like this. We're the minority. What we're doing, what we're talking about, we're in the minority. And the phenomena of the good Lord. In the not too dear future, they're going to be the minority. The people that are snickering at us and looking down their nose saying we're crazy, they're going to be in the minority because they're already, that. I mean, look how much it's exploded in the last, 5, 10, 15 years. And, the cameras, you back in the day, only the rich people basically had camcorders, and there wasn't very many. Well, guess what? Now a person with an iPhone, I mean, it's incredible what you can capture on a phone. And it's just getting to the point where they can't control the narrative. And unfortunately, everybody's drunk on AI, which it's kind of a bummer, but in the same sense, that's why whenever I do my videos, I say the date, I say, what day it is. That way somebody can go back and look, hey, this guy's lying. It was cloudy that morning. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you want to do the legwork, my stuff is real. And I mean, plain and simple.
Yeah, I've watched some of it, and I'm telling you, like, I could actually sit there and just go through your entire profile on Instagram and just watch it and be like, whoa. And it is fascinating to me how you can, I guess if you're sensitive, you can even see how the energy is coming through the phone. You know, it's coming through your recording.
Right.
So you can tell the difference between an AI generated image and that, if you're sensitive, or, I like to say, if you just have eyes to see and ears to hear, you will pick up on it, So it's just so mind blowing right now, because as you were saying, they're trying to control the narrative, and no matter what happens, they try harder and harder and harder. Like this recent documentary that was just brought out. I think it's The Age of Disclosure or something like that. I haven't seen it. I don't really have any interest in seeing it, because it's the same characters that working for the controllers, if you want to call them that. Just same.
I agree totally.
Yeah, it's just look up. Don't look behind a screen for the evidence.
And see, that's what Jake Barber said. That was almost his exact words. Look up. Look outside of yourself. There's something bigger than yourself. And here's the kicker. Whenever the good Lord decides, they ain't going to be able to hold it back. That's why the government is so frustrated. They could control like the Tic Tac. My personal opinion, that's ours. That's man-made technology, and they're spinning it. They're trying to. 95% truth is the most dangerous, because it's very believable. But 5%, it's like, they're good at what they do. As far as being able to, even the shows that we watch. I mean, we are so brainwashed. Just for me, it's frustrating. It's like everybody starts talking about something, and before you know it, the whole group is talking about. It's like we come into one big glob, and I truly believe it's a personal relationship. Everybody has their own special little thing.
I have a lot of issues with the way that media portrays just about everything, because it really does its best to shape people's ideas of the world in the most dysfunctional direction possible. And people actually love it. They don't see that it's done on purpose, and they don't see that it affects their interpersonal relationships and their quality of life. And I've been screaming from the rooftops for a long time, more than a decade, about it. And it just doesn't matter. People just look at you like you're the one with the problem, because you're asking them one simple question. Just look inside of yourself and look and see if what's inside of your heart is what you see being reflected back to you from behind a screen.
Right. And see, that's funny you said that, because even the Bible teaches that you'll know a man by the fruits of his work. And that's why I will never, my whole thing is, if this is my 15 minutes of fame, I want to reflect it back to heaven. I want to have a positive impact in this 15 minutes of my fame. And whenever I go out, if I could touch one person's heart, I'm done. That's good. I've done something positive. And if this person can go out and if they can experience it, and that's happened. It's like he was saying about there were certain videos where I'll post it. This one particular one, it was very powerful. And I posted it at like 4 a.m. I came in, I hurried up, and then I went to work. Within an hour, I had people from different parts of the country saying, "Oh my God, I watched the video and I went outside and I instantly saw this mind-blowing shooting star." And it's like, that's what I'm after. I want to learn, okay, if we do this, how can we bring more positive energy? Bring a, well, what's the word? My brain, I'm tired tonight. I'm sorry. It's the, Lord, bring it to my mind. I can't think. Sorry, my brain just went south. It happens when you get old, man.
Oh, I think that this episode is going to reach a lot of people that you may never hear anything from, because sometimes I just get introduced to people like through email and stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is Jahan from the Boundless Authenticity podcast," and they're like, "What? I listen to that guy's show. He's a badass." And I'm just sitting around thinking, I don't even actually know who hears this stuff. A lot of it, I'm just like, does anybody actually hear what I'm trying to say? Is anybody actually listening? Are these numbers on the screen just lies, or are they masking stuff so I can't tell? And it's worth it, because sometimes you get emails like that and people are like, wow, something you said changed my life, or something your guest said changed my life. So don't ever think for a second that people aren't hearing what you're saying. You've already touched more than one, so just keep on touching.
What's so wild is that's honestly, that's what keeps me going. I'll be like the spiritual attacks. I'll be getting my butt kicked, and there'll be that one person that replies saying, "Man, please don't stop your prayers," or whatever. And it's not about me, but it's like, you can just feel you made a difference. And honestly, nowadays, people needs hope. There's just so much, especially with the holidays coming around. This is whenever people need to go out, look up, and help. I always say in my videos, help me tell the story, because God's pulling back his veil and he's allowing us. Come on. Every morning it's like this morning, I shot probably 15 videos, and almost 10 out of the 15 had profound footage. And it's like, I start feeling guilty. It's like, do I post this? I try to post the best, or the most that has, the most impact. And it's embarrassing how much the good Lord blesses me. I'm telling you, it's like, and once again, there's nothing happening. When I push record, there's nothing going on. I'm looking at a beautiful, beautiful sky. And within that 1 minute, right in the middle of the screen. So I mean, I'm done trying to explain it away. But I would love for somebody to say, "Hey, Jesse, check this video out. I actually went out and I prayed, and look what happened." And I'm just me speaking that. My entire body is tingling right now. It's just, there's energy, there's positive energy that we can share. Quantum entanglement was the word I was looking for earlier, where people, go out and they can experience it, because we're energy, we're all connected. And see, that's where the narrative comes in, to where they try to make us, they dummy us down. Oh, that's a coincidence, or they put a negative spin to it to try to dim the light, if that makes sense.
Right now, so as of this week, I actually heard something I consider to be dangerous coming from CNN. They were, in short, saying how, yes, they are confirming the existence of these crafts, that they've been around for 80 years or so, and that they're attacking military crafts, and that they're going to have to start shooting them out of the sky, and going along the stereotypical, the aliens are coming narrative.
Right.
And along with that, they advertised that new documentary. And I thought to myself, okay, so that, for anyone that really wants to see it, that's the evidence right there. I already call CNN constantly negative news.
Right.
because that's really all it's about. And it's really only about engineering people's ability to think. And like you said, dumbing us down. I would even say it a little bit gentler. I would say creating a society of people with very limited thinking capacity, because it's like a child. If you constantly coddle a child, it's really bad for that child. So if you always have the government and the media telling you what to do, how to do it, you will never go outside of your comfort zone. You will never think beyond the box. And it's just a box inside of another box, inside of another box. And
it's like their comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. And people are actually complicit and compliant with their own slavery. And that's the biggest problem. None of this stuff that we can go into Walmart and buy means anything. But everything that's inside of you is what is going to help you get by, you know, all of the love that you have in your heart. People say that they're doing stuff for their families. That's the reason why they work 9 to 5 and then work overtime and hustle, gotta hustle, gotta get that money to get material things that nobody's going to remember anyway. I don't remember a single thing that my parents bought for me from a childhood that I need today, you know? What I needed was their love and their care and their affection and their guidance. Didn't get that either, by the way, but hey, you know, I still made it. But if people say that they love their families, why is there such little attempt on their part to just do better, think better, and put a little bit more Jesus on stuff, if you want to put it that way. Put a little bit more God into the equation. I see a lot of people who masquerade as being spiritual, and they're the nastiest people I've ever met. I stay away from them.
Right. You know? That's why I don't go. I mean, I grew up in a Bible teaching church, but I don't go to church anymore. And church is a good thing for some people, but for me, I'm sorry, but it's like, I don't even like being around crowds, because I see things in a different sense. You see people smiling, but they have a butcher knife in their hand, you know, like, and it's like, I don't like fake, if that makes any sense. It's like,
yeah,
I always say I see more animals than I do people when I get home from work. So yeah, it's just kind of whenever I was raised, we had reverence for older people, whether we agreed with them or not. We respected them. And now it's like people don't understand that, and it's little things like that. It's like, who are you when there's nobody around? What kind of integrity do you have? You know, and that's why I always tell the Lord, I'm out here. Okay, Lord, I'm all alone. tell me something. You talk to me, because I honestly want to be a better person. Because honestly, I grew up. I was a jerk. I was a butthole. I partied. So, and this is for the people that think you got to be perfect to go out and do what I do. I'm a knucklehead. I do stupid stuff sometimes, but I'm human. I humble myself. So it's like people say I want to be better before I start going to church. No, you go to church so you can be better. They clean, the good Lord cleans you the way that He wants it. And you go out under the sky. This is how I can explain it. Through my day, if I have an opportunity to be negative, the first thing that pops into my head is, I don't want to do that. I'm blessed. I'm blessed with the ability to go out. I have front row seats to the good Lord. He's here. Why would I want to screw that up? I mean, it's free. All I have to do is just have a childlike faith. And I always say, like, especially this time of the year, the holidays brings a sad feeling of loneliness. It's a spirit, and it's ugly. I went through a divorce, and I spent many Christmases alone. So this time of the year is honestly the time that we need to reach out and just be more, just be more eyes open towards people that need a good hug or something, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm preaching them.
No, I mean, this is stuff that people need to hear. You cannot hear this stuff too many times, honestly.
And the reward, I'm telling you, I used to, I was a partier. But what's funny is when I go out in the morning, I get high. I'm high on life. There's no drug that you can buy that makes you feel like whenever I'm sitting there videoing, or even better yet, instead of videoing, I could actually be sitting there and I'm being still. That's one thing it's hard for me to do because I talk to, but I'll be sitting there looking at the sky and I won't be speaking. And right where I'm looking, there'll be a flash. And then I'm like, I just start smiling. And it's like, and then a shooting star will go, and I'm just, I'm not moving my head. And it's like, it's coming to me. It's my hair. I'm sorry. I'm getting goosebumps. It's just, it's an energy. I mean, I wish everybody out there could just get a taste of this because you won't want to go back, go to the bars, party. And if you want to do that, that's fine. That's your deal. I did it, but this is different. This is genuine, truly.
Well, in closing, you could preach a little bit more. You could give us what you think is going to happen going forward with this. Is there hope, you think, for humanity because of this?
This is what I could tell you with confidence. Those people that are looking down their noses at us and snickering, saying that we're silly, we're crazy, your reality, the door to your reality is about ready to get kicked in. This reality, the true reality, it's going to be it's just going to be great. It's going to be greater than all the negative. And it's important that people understand we live in a broken world. That's just how it is. But if each of us gets up and we try to make a positive impact, the world's going to get better. It's going to get better. I truly believe it's each individual has their own reality. It's like I control my reality. And if you get near me, I'm going to hug you. I want positive to go on you. And if we all start doing that, just think about that. Instead of everybody, Black Lives Matters or racism, illegals, this is all toxic. You know what I'm saying? I'm a God believing person. I don't care what color you are, how old you are, what your standing is, whether you're rich or poor. I look at your heart. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's all about character and good values and moral fortitude. And unfortunately, there are people who are okay with living their lives spiritually bankrupt and judging others and being negative and destructive. And there's not a whole lot that we can do except understand that that's their choice. And we can make our choice to not do that. Because honestly, a lot of the times when I feel like somebody's sucking me into something negative or I want to say something negative, I always ask myself first, is that the truth though? Because if it's the truth, then I get to say it. And if it's not, then I should shut up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. I totally agree. There's so many things that me and you could sit here and talk about. I haven't even got into a lot of the electrical and what's so cool is I see the strobes, the shooting stars, but now being as I've been bugging the Lord for 3 years, he is opening more layers. Layers is a good word because there's so much going on. We're so naive to think that we got everything figured out. Just think about it. They just started understanding quantum entanglement, all these different layers that we never even dreamed about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's so much to understand. It's how do you even start making a list that you could read to people? It'd just be too long.
A quick example so I explain what I'm talking about. Whenever I would be out videoing, say, maybe a year and a half ago. About once every 3 or 4 months, I would catch an electrical or like a shape. And then a year ago, it would be like once every 2 months. Now it's like every other session. It's accelerating. The more I don't really, that's why I honestly wish somebody out there from academia, scientists or whatever, there's nobody else that I know of that does what I do. I wish somebody would reach out and just me talking to you, it's like it expands my mind. And kind of like the Jake Barber, whenever he sit there and acknowledges, if you go out and you look up to the sky and something incredible is going to happen if you send a positive message, that's reaffirming what I'm talking about. That gives me hope. That gives me confidence, spiritual confidence. To me, that's priceless. Because the more confident spiritually I become, the more I can learn. The more that I learn, I guarantee you're going to see it because I will share it. I will try to get out as much as I can. But it would be great if somebody could reach out. And I've written, what's crazy is, are you familiar with Gary Nolan, the Stanford psychic?
Yeah, I've heard the name, yeah.
I actually had conversations with this guy through emails, but it was so early in my process, I didn't have all my. If I know now, then it would be completely different because he would be very interested. But I almost think he ghosted. Whatever. I'm sorry. It's like
because your faculties weren't sharp yet. Like you didn't have the language and all of that to really communicate.
And the footage. I mean, it's all I have. Most of the stuff that I've talked about, you can get on Instagram, whether it's the flashes, the strobes. I actually caught ground level for this spring. It was cloudy, and I'm like, man. And I call it the voice is like, why don't you video down low? And I'm like, okay, cool. So I go out, and it's like, I started capturing footage down low, which was mind blowing to me because I had no idea,
Yeah, I'm just laughing because you're talking and my bird's just listening to everything you're saying. He's like hunkering down and listening, like.
That's what kind of bird is it?
He is a nape-necked pigeon, so they are indigenous to the Caribbean. I think sometimes they migrate between Caribbean countries. And he just kind of fell out of a tree and I took care of him and he never lets me out of his sight. If I walk across the room or if I leave the room, all of a sudden I'll hear flapping behind here. There he is behind me. Yep.
And it takes a special person for, wildlife to do that. So
yeah. These birds are very elusive. They usually keep a good distance from people. And since I started taking care of him, the others that are wild, they come into the yard and they come close to me and they get down on the ground and they walk behind me and stuff like that. So they can tell,
Right.
It's kind of like they operate on a hive mind kind of thing, where if one breaks the pattern, then all of them are like, oh, okay, they learned something.
Right.
Yeah.
I heard that from Chris Bledsoe, kind of. He said wild ducks come to him which is very unusual.
Yeah, it starts off being the same thing as your experience with the orbs. It's very mind blowing and like, what is going on here when all these different types of animals just start coming to you? I mean, I was talking to my partner. This was a few years ago about turtles and how much I love turtles. Shit you not. A turtle showed up at my door.
That's a synchronicity, man.
Yep. Now he lives here and his name is Philip.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah. And from there, I just started getting more and more turtles. I've got like 3 baby turtles. And so it's just, it starts like that for me all the time with different types of animals, whether it's cats, dogs, birds, you name it. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. To me, that doesn't happen very often.
Jesse, thanks for being on the Boundless Authenticity podcast. As things develop on your property and, you know, in your life, your experiences, your spiritual experiences, good and bad, you can come back on and let us know exactly how things are going. And we'll just keep pushing at it and keep pushing through the obstacles that keep this show censored, and others will just keep praying for them and putting their work out there, and we'll hope for the best and, you know, hope that we can make maximum impact with everything that we're doing, because there has to be a reason for this. I've hung on to the concept that in the worst of times in my life, that I wasn't just experiencing it for nothing. It had to be serving a purpose. And there have been times in my life where I've been down to the wire and just at the limit and didn't even want to be alive anymore. And something just kept me going. So anybody that doesn't believe that there's something out there, try changing your mind. Try playing with it, because you never know where it's going to take you. And as we see so much darkness in the world, understand that that is just a manifestation of the amount of light that people like us are putting out there, because it scares those people more than anything. So whenever you see, you know, look in the sky, you see geoengineering, you look around the supermarket, you see poison everywhere. You see people getting more drunk and doing more drugs and things like that. Yeah, that's happening, but that's a response to the good too. That's how evil works, you know? So always put that in the front of your mind. Keep on going.
Just know, brother, you're going to be in my prayers, your podcast, everything that you do. Just know that I appreciate it. And there's a lot of people out there that appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thanks for saying that. And thanks for being on the Boundless Authenticity podcast.
Thank you, brother.
Once again, listeners, you can remember that Jesse is easy to find. He's on Instagram at EarlBob1964. And I'm telling you, that footage, you cannot explain that away. That is real. So go check it out. All right. You're listening to the Boundless Authenticity podcast, where we discuss everything related to the evolution of human consciousness.
At the very least, people need to understand that the United States builds bunkers, which are basically cities underground, every 3 months.
Basically, when you dream, you tap into your subconscious. It is your nocturnal intuition, your creativity and imagination unchained from conscious reason, ego and logic.
They're biologically alive, but they have no soul. They have AI consciousness. They can alter your consciousness of the brain to get the brain.
We live in a multidimensional reality, whether it comes through esoteric information in the spiritual realms, or the UFO people, experiencers, or mainstream through quantum physics and through mainstream science now realizing that parallel dimensions probably exist.
We're all spiritual beings. We're all having these human experiences. We've heard that phrase over and over and over. But what does that really mean?
You know, all the big questions of life, we have these answers inside of our souls.
We're ultimately studying the nature of what it is to be human, good and evil, our psychology, how we think, and our health. That's why I love Bruce Lee's great quote, all knowledge is ultimately self-knowledge.
The Boundless Authenticity podcast.